Hey guys, it's Andy, aka Elogee, aka Elogee. I'm here for another Magic the Gathering deck tech video. As you can see by the title, this is Pioneer Izzet Creativity, inspired heavily by Reid's winning deck a couple years back at the Pro Tour. I added a couple new cards that have been added that didn't exist back in 2 years ago or 3, whenever he won that, but overall very much inspired by Reid's list. And for that, I almost didn't make this video because I've had this deck for like 6 months now and never made a video about it, but I enjoy making these videos just to show what I've done in my magic deck building process. So I put together an Izzet Creativity deck and wanted to share it with y'all. So here we are. To begin with, let's go over the lands. I have 2 basic mountains, nice ukiyo-e lands, and 1 basic island. Moving along, we have 4 steam vents, probably just the best. Shotguns are probably still the best dual lands in the format. Debatably though, I mean, I really like the slow lands from Innistrad Midnight Hunt and the Crimson Vow. So we also got 3 Stormcarved Coast in here. Could probably take another land out to put a 4th copy in, but I want the option to be able to play early game if I can. So only 3. For example, I could take one of these 2 copies of Shivan Reef out, but in the incredibly unlikely event that I have like 2 Stormcarved Coasts and a Shivan Reef in hand, it would be better than having 3 Stormcarved Coasts in hand to allow me to play on turn 2. So that's why I have it like that. 1 Hall of the Storm Giants, a very backup win condition that you don't really want to try to mess with, but it's there. Same with Mutavault, though Mutavault is more of a combo enabler rather than a win condition in itself. But technically, I mean, it can attack and block, so there's that. I have 4 of the Izzet pathway. I have it preloaded on red because red is usually the side I play it on, because our deck is it has a lot of red pips that we want to have red mana for. So there's that. We have 3 Spire Bluff Canals, the fast land for Izzet, and finally 3 channel lands, 2 Sokenzan and 1 Otawara. I'm normally not a fan of multiple copies of the same channel land in a deck, but in this one, I'm okay with it because Sokenzan is one that I actively want to be channeling here to get creatures on board, so I figured it's worth having multiples of. Anyway, that's it for the land base. That should be 25 lands, so we shouldn't be getting mana screwed, but we are more along the lines of a control deck, especially in the early game, so we do want to be hitting our lands. Anyway, to begin with the spells, we have 3 copies of Fiery Impulse. 1 mana instant, deals 2 damage to a creature, but if we have Spell Mastery, aka 2 other spells in the yard, deals 3 damage to that creature instead. So can shock something, can bolt something, but can't go face. Overall, pretty good card. Like I said, we want to be controlling the board early game, and then making sure the coast is clear, and then winning the game. So that's what we got. We have 3 copies of Make Disappear. This is what Reid played, and I feel it's still solid in the deck, even though there's other counters now. Just 2 mana counter anything degenerate the opponent wants to do. It's good. Still good after all this time, so I found no reason to change it. One thing I did add to the deck, because it didn't exist, is actually 4 copies of Deduce. 2 mana, instant speed, draw a card, and then investigate. So you're basically drawing 2 cards for 1 here. You do have to pay 4 mana for it, but that's still a good rate. The main caveat though is that in this deck we want artifacts and creatures in play, so this putting an artifact in play helps get our deck online. So that's why Deduce, I feel, is a definite 4 of, because we can draw with it if we need to, but otherwise it just fuels our later plays. And speaking of controlling, I have 3 copies of Fire Prophecy, 2 mana, 3 damage to a target creature. However, the important part here is you may put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library, and if you do draw a card, if we get one of the cards in our deck that we need in our deck into our hand, this is a way to replenish it into the deck so we can, keep it in the deck and have it function as a win condition from the deck. Fire Prophecy is very good in that aspect. We're also playing 3 copies of Impulse. noticed impulses in a lot of my decks lately, and I just like the card. I feel like it's good in a multitude of situations. 2 mana with the top 4, put any in your hand. Very good for a combo deck like this. Pretty good stuff. 2 negate in the main board. I'm not sure why, but it is good. I mean, it's not like there aren't valid targets for that. I'm just surprised that's in the main deck, but I'm just saying that could be replaced with more like impulses or other counter spells or fiery impulses or something, but we got the negates. No complaints from me. And then to go along with our Fire Prophecy here, we have Valakut Awakening. That is an MDFC, so you can play it as a land, but I like, if absolutely necessary, I will, but I like to hold it in case of emergencies, because this, like Fire Prophecy, you can put a card in your hand that should be in your deck back into your deck. That's always a good, like, in case of emergency, hold on to that Valakut Awakening. By the way, 3 mana instant, put any number of cards from your hand at the bottom of your library, then draw that many +1. So you go card neutral, but you just replenish your hand. Put those, I don't know if there's a magic term for this, but in Yu-Gi-Oh! We call them garnets. They're cards you want in your deck. Not in your hand. You're searching them out from your deck, and that's going to help you win. So having them in your hand is actively bad. So that just puts the garnets back in your deck. Anyway, we're moving along. We have 4 copies of Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Very good card. Comes down, makes a 2/2 Shaman Goblin that creates treasures when you attack. So already, just that alone, if you put the Fable down, the token comes into play. That's a token that can be sacrificed. If that gets through, that makes treasure that can be sacrificed. So that is already amazing for what we want to be do. But if you keep reading, chapter 2, we can rummage through our hand if we have like dead cards in hand. Could be risky because we could draw into our garnets, but that's not, I mean, you always want to be going through your deck, even through the risk of drawing your garnets. You want to get to your combo pieces, so you're almost always doing that. And then finally it flips to the back. That becomes a Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker, tap to copy something, which can be nice. But primarily, the fact that this becomes a creature while making a creature on its first chapter, like, it's so much value. Even in a normal deck, like not a combo deck like this, just face value, this is a very good card. In this deck, it's just especially good. So definite 4 of there. Speaking of 4 of, we also got 4 copies of Big Score. Not to be confused with the set that has the same name as this, but this is the original Big Score. 4 mana. As an additional cost, you got to discard a card, but when you do that, you draw 2 cards and make 2 treasure tokens. Treasure tokens are what we really need to start, the process of what the deck wants to be doing, which we're almost at. Still one other card before that. It is Shark Typhoon, which is a 6 mana enchantment that makes bodies whenever you cast non-creature spells, dependent on the mana value. So if this is sitting out and I play like Impulse for 2 mana, you make a 2/2 flying shark. That we're not usually going to be casting Shark Typhoon for 6 mana though. Instead we're going to be cycling it, because when you cycle it, you pay 1 in a blue and then X. And then when you cycle it, you make a shark with X power and toughness, because of how much mana you pumped into it. So can make a big shark out of nowhere. That can be a win condition also, but you can also pay 0 mana, 1 in a blue, you'll make a 0/0 shark, it'll die, but you'll still cycle, go through your deck, get what you need, and then it just upscales from there. Like, you can make a 1/1 that can be sacked for your combo, or you can go higher and higher and just make a win condition all in itself. Shark Typhoon is a good card. I didn't include more than 2 copies though, because I feel like the other earlier options are just better. So might need more actually, but I'm fine with 2 for now. And then finally, the namesake card of the deck. 4 copies of Indomitable Creativity, boys. 3 red mana and an X. Destroy X target artifacts and or creatures. Can be yours or your opponent's. We do not want to be targeting our opponent's stuff with this though. We want to target our own creatures and or artifacts, which we make through this. There's no creatures in the deck. There's no artifacts in the deck except the ones we want to hit, because when we destroy those, we reveal cards from the top of the deck until we hit an artifact or a creature. So the only 2 valid targets in the deck that Indomitable Creativity can hit are Xenagos, God of Rebels, an enchantment creature god that's indestructible. that doesn't really become a creature until you have enough devotion. That's not really important. The important part is it is a creature that you can hit off creativity. It'll come into play, cease being a creature, but will still exist as an enchantment that has an ability that at the beginning of combat, another target creature gets +X and haste, where X is equal to its power, and the other card is Worldspine Worm. So this comes into play alongside Xenagos off our Indomitable Creativity. What we do is we have X equal to, targeting 2 random artifacts or creatures, destroy them, and then our deck is guaranteed to hit Xenagos and Worldspine Worm. Upon combat, this is going to trigger double the power and toughness of our Worldspine Worm and give it haste, so we'll be swinging with a 30-30 Trampler, and that is usually enough to win the game. We don't want to just do this blindly because there isn't really, I mean, there are backup win conditions, but we don't want to do it blindly because this is primarily how the deck wins, so we want to be careful with it. So that's why we have the negates and the make disappears and stuff to try to stop any disruption. But that is the combo. That's what the deck is trying to accomplish. And like inspired again by Reid, in the sideboard I have 2 cards that can be switched for Xenagos and Worldspine Worm, so that when we cast Indomitable Creativity, we will guaranteed hit 2 copies of Hullbreaker Horror. However, Hullbreaker Horror is more of an anti-control card, so we're not always going to be reliably resolving Indomitable Creativity, so there's something to keep in mind there. The rest of the board, just like anti-control stuff and anti-disruption stuff, like Pithing Needles for Planeswalkers, Aether Gusts in case we're getting beat down, Fries to hit like Teferi Time Raveler or the Wandering Emperor, Damning Sphere for Lotus Field, Disdainful Stroke more, and Mystical Dispute for more control matchups. So yeah, a combo deck through and through that can get there through other means like our Hall of Storm Giants or our Fables or our Shark Typhoon tokens, but that is the primary win condition. Resolve Creativity, get Xenagos Worldspine Worm down, double Worldspine Worms, power, attack for 30, game. That's how the deck wins, primarily. So, yeah, that's the deck. I've been having a blast playing with this on Arena. I think it's a very fun deck. If you never played something like this, I recommend trying it out. Does not fare well when Thoughtseize is the #1 card in the format, though, so I don't know. I don't know, man, going forward, but shoutouts to Reid Duke for winning that Pro Tour and inspiring me to build this, because I enjoy it. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more Magic deck videos, because I got plenty more decks and always trying to make more. So yeah, thanks for watching and have a good day, guys.